fellow St. Martiners, today, September 5th, is a date that will forever be etched in the memory of St. Martiners due to Hurricane Lewis in 1995. On this day in 2017, we are expecting Irma. Looking at the forecasted path of Irma, government has and continues to take measures to prepare our country for the passing of the hurricane and to respond to the effects in its aftermath. Our emergency services are, as a result, working to put everything in place. They are organizing shelters, pumping the pond, cleaning the trenches, and more. Meanwhile, our police, voluntary corps, and Coast Guards have been reinforced with the military. And across our island, I have seen you making preparations, all of which to ensure our readiness. I pray and hope that we will be spared the worst of the force of Irma's winds and rain. While we pray and hope for the best, I urge you to heed the advice and directives of government to ensure the protection and safety of yourselves, your family, your property, and thus our country. As a people, we have been through hurricanes before. We know the dangers of hurricanes, and we know the benefits of preparation and precaution. I therefore urge you not to take any chances during the passing of Hurricane Irma. This means that you are to find a safe place before and stay indoors during the passing of the hurricane. And once the hurricane has passed, I urge you to follow government's directions to help ensure an orderly restoration of our daily lives. My fellow St. Martiners, as we await Irma's landfall, I believe that I express the spirit of we, the people of St. Martin, when I declare that we will overcome this storm. I do so because of my trust in the boundless strength and resilience of our people, thanks to the continued guidance of the Almighty God. In closing, I am confident that as a people we will, as we have in the past, draw from our collective strength to withstand this storm. And I will, in that same spirit of strength, keep you in my thoughts and pray for your safety and that of our nation. Be strong, stay safe, and may God bless St. Martin and protect our shore.
Win yourself a brand new car from the St. Martin's Lions Club and Port of St. Martin Group of Companies. Get your tickets for the Gold Green Car Raffle and win a brand new Toyota Prius C Tickets only $10. Get your tickets today. The more tickets you get, the more chances you have. Draw date, Sunday, October 8th. Tickets available at Van Godberdeen, Madam Estate, Big D's Photo Studio on the Pondville, and from all Lion members and at the Lion's Den. Get your tickets to win a brand new car from the St. Martin's Lions Club and Port of St. Martin Group of Companies.
Hey guys, did you know that now with Telcel, if you accumulate $25 or more within one calendar month, you get 15 more?
15 more?
Yes, 15 more. However you want.
So I can top up $3 now, $10 next week, and so on until I reach or pass $25?
That's right. Get 15 more.
Wow! I feel like a 15 again.
Yeah. Right. Accumulate $25 or more within one calendar month and get 15 more. Telcel, when you want more.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
My fellow St. Martiners, residents and visitors of our beautiful island, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Today is exactly 22 years ago when Hurricane Louise struck St. Martin and left a trail of destruction in its wake. Normally, on a day like this, we would be looking back and reflecting on how that incredible storm changed our lives. But today is not a normal day. In a matter of hours, we're expecting another monster storm, Hurricane Irma, to come calling. While the lessons we learned from Louise may give us some measure of comfort to face the dangers Irma poses, I want to assure each and every one of you that the most important thing we must safeguard is life itself. By now, you should have completed all the necessary preparations, including taking care of your pets. Irma is a very serious hurricane and by now is a Category 5 storm. All the comparisons with Louise may pale given Irma's current trajectory and the prevailing weather conditions. The true character of a people is revealed in how they face disaster and confront adversity. We have been down this road before and showed the world that we are a resilient people who, despite our differences, come together in moments like this to overcome any challenge that may test our resolve. I call on you today to once more show that what we are made of as a people. We need to look out for our family members, our friends, and our neighbors, not after the passage of the storm, but even before it passes through here. Those of you who think your homes may not be safe enough should immediately seek shelter with family, friends, or neighbors until the storm is over. Invite someone you know who may need a safe place to stay to ride out the storm with you. Now more than ever before, we must show that we are indeed our brothers and our sisters' keepers. This afternoon, we had an Emergency Operations Center EOC meeting, and we have decided on the following. We will open 7 hurricane shelters as of 4 o'clock today. Once again, we will open 4 hurricane shelters as of 4 o'clock today. I know the closure or the opening of the shelters has generated some controversy. However, this is not the time to debate if the decision then was a good one or the decision now is even a better one. We are hours away from a possible direct hit by a very powerful storm. Our focus now should therefore be on staying alive and securing our properties as best as we can. The 7 shelters which will open as of 4 o'clock this afternoon are as follows. In the Phillipsburg area, we have the New Testament Baptist Church. In Middle Region, we have the Sister Marie Laurence Primary School. In Belvedere, the Belvedere Community Center. Dutch Quarter, we have the Dutch Quarter Community Center. In the St. Peter's South Reward area, we have the Rupert I. Maynard Youth Community Center on the St. Peter's Main Road. In Cahill, we have the National Institute for Professional Advancement, so the NEPA school, just next to the Asher Stephen Christian School in the back of the Raoul Illich Sports Complex. And for Simpson Bay, Colby, K-Bay area, we have the Christian Fellowship Church across from Pineapple Pete's up in the hill. So the Christian Fellowship Church. These are the only 7 shelters that will be open this afternoon as of 4 o'clock to allow those persons who are saying, we cannot find family or friends to go to. Our home is not in any condition to withstand this Category 5 hurricane, so we will be providing shelters. The Marines will be managing those shelters from 4 o'clock this afternoon until the hurricane passes, and our local staff will take over as soon as the hurricane subsides. The other shelters that have been designated in the other areas, they will, if necessary, open after the hurricane as well. We have another change, and that pertains to the time of the curfew. Originally, we announced that the curfew will kick in at 8 o'clock, but because of the conditions, the intensity of the storm, it is heading now to break all records. It is expected that by the time it reaches our area or beyond, it will be clocking probably 200 miles per hour. Unprecedented. This is not just any storm. So the curfew will now go into effect as of 6 p.m. Today, and it is mandatory to stay indoors until the curfew has been lifted. I cannot stress enough how necessary it is to obey the curfew. It is for your own safety and the safety of others. The curfew will be lifted as soon as conditions permit, that is after the hurricane has passed and the relevant government agencies have completed the damage assessment. The EOC, we will meet again on Thursday morning at 9 a.m. to evaluate the situation and decide on the curfew and the way forward. Nobody, and I repeat, nobody should be on the road during the curfew. I am appealing to all of you not to go out and, conduct disaster tourism, trying to see for yourself what is happening outside, but to obey instructions from the respective government agencies charged with handling the emergency situation. As stated earlier in two of my previous broadcasts, a company of some 100 Dutch Marines have been mobilized and are on the island to assist our police, fire department, ambulance, public works, and other first responders. Government offices have already been closed. Schools have been closed and will remain closed until after the hurricane, and we will provide that notice. However, emergency services will continue to operate as normal. Should you require any emergency service during this period, you're advised to call 911, and hopefully this will not be necessary. With regards to business closure, it was mandatory that all businesses, including casinos, whether standalone or those in hotels, that they should have been closed as of 12 p.m. this afternoon. So they should have been closed over an hour ago. This means, so they have been closed an hour ago. However, supermarkets, hardware stores, restaurants, pharmacies, gas stations, and bakeries are allowed to remain open. Allowed, it is not compulsory. Initially, in previous broadcasts, we have said they are allowed to remain open until 5, but we have changed that. They will now be allowed to open until 3. Only restaurants on hotel properties are allowed to remain open after 3 p.m. Today. Hotels are, however, advised to make the necessary arrangements for essential staff to remain on their properties. Government has done all that it can to prepare for this hurricane. I hope that you have done the same as well. The pond has been drained to minimize potential flooding of the Phillipsburg area. But don't be alarmed if you see or smell some dead fish as a result of this. Many of you may not have experienced a hurricane before. It is never a good experience, and I therefore urge you to be as calm as possible. It is also very important that you refrain from rumor mongering and disseminating fake news. Stay tuned to the radio stations, especially our government radio station 107.9 FM, for accurate information and official announcements. And of course, stay tuned to the other radio stations that are carrying this broadcast as well. Rumors or any other form of misinformation can cause as much damage as a hurricane itself. So please do not share news from unreliable and unofficial sources on social media, no matter how tempting this may be. Fellow St. Martiners, residents and visitors of our beloved island, as we brace ourselves for this powerful hurricane, I join those of you who have begun praying and asking our good Lord to have mercy on our island and deliver us from this imminent danger. I pray that the same God who spoke to the storm to calm it down will do the same to calm down Hurricane Irma. Be strong, be courageous, and above all, be safe. We are in this together. By the grace of God, we shall overcome. As they say, this too shall pass. God be with you. God be with all of us. God be with St. Martin.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister, for your national address. And of course, there's some topics that I picked up that I would like to ask you some questions just to bring clarity. You have just come out of an AUC meeting earlier today. You've discussed and also mentioned that there are some changes that are taking place in regard to closing of the businesses and stores.
Yes.
There are some exceptions. There's also a change in the status on the curfew. There's also a change in the status of shelters. But let's begin first and foremost by looking at the overall discussion coming out of the AUC. Store closures. Are they still expected to close at 5 p.m. and which stores are the ones that are exception to the rule?
No, Cedric. We have decided because of pulling the curfew forward, because of the condition of the storm, we think it is really severe. Not we think, it is. All indications are, as I indicated, it will be, it is a Category 5, and the winds will be clocking now already 175 miles, and we expect it to exceed 200 miles. So we are asking people to observe the curfew and get off the road by 5, 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock the latest. Anybody should be on the road. But the stores should have closed already by 12. And those that we allowed to remain open, bakery, grocery stores, hardware stores, pharmacies, and supermarkets, they can remain, they're not compulsory, they can remain open until 3. But after 3 o'clock, they too should shut down doors, close their doors, and send home their staff.
One of the key things that we're seeing with this system gradually as it's making its way here is an increase in storm surge. So that means our coastal areas are in danger. People living on the coast, what should they do?
Cedric, that's one of the other things that we want to emphasize. We don't want to scare people. We don't want to, make people panic. But there are all indications that the coastal areas will undergo some possible flooding. That is possible in the cul-de-sac area. That's possible in Cold Bay, Simpson Bay, and in Phillipsburg. People who, like we were discussing in the meeting also today, at a given moment, I would rather be in a home that is, 4 or 5 inches with water in it than to be in a home that has been completely blown away. So those persons who are in the areas that can possibly flood, we are asking those people to take the necessary precautions. If you want to be dry, find a family member to go up, where it is dry. I can understand people saying, I do not want to leave my home. Also, that too is a possibility. But those people who are living in the areas where we know from 22 years ago, the condition of the homes that were totally destroyed and people became homeless, we have been listening. It is not that we have not been listening to the persons who are saying, hey, open up the shelters. But we also wanted to ensure that people would be their brothers and sisters keeper, that we would look out for our family and our friends. So we are telling people right now, if you feel not safe, the shelter is not a hotel room. The shelter will not be providing you with a bed. The shelter will not be providing you with any food stuff. So make sure you pack your bags as you listen to me now. If you want to be in a shelter, we will announce them once again, what those, which those shelters are. 7 shelters have been earmarked to be opened this afternoon at 4 o'clock. We are urging people who need to go to a shelter to take some food stuff with you, take some drinking water with you, take a blanket, a sheet or something that you can spread somewhere to make yourself comfortable, and ride out the storm. Those 7 shelters, Cedric, as I pointed out earlier, they are the New Testament Baptist Church in Phillipsburg, the Sister Marie Laurence Primary School, the Rupert I. Maynard Community Center, the NIPA School in the back of the Raul Ellis Sports Complex in Cahill, the Christian Fellowship Church across from Pineapple Pete's in the hill in Cold Bay, and we also have the Dutch Quarter Community Center and the Belvedere Community Center. These are the shelters that will be opened. They will be manned by the Marines from 4 o'clock this afternoon. Actually, we will have local staff there to help do the intake and help people settle in, but the local staff will take over as soon as the storm subsides. And the other shelters, once the hurricane has passed and people would want to go to other shelters, we have the Milton Peters College in South Reward that will also be available. The St. Martin Academy in Cul-de-Sac will also be available. The Leonard Connor School in K-Bay will also be available. The Allen C. Hawley Community Center in Simpson Bay will also become available. So those are shelters in addition to the 7 shelters that we have mentioned already. The staff of GEBE is right now providing each of those shelters with a standby generator. We believe electricity will be cut at some point in time. Most of these shelters, I believe all of them, are located, probably with the exception of the one, the church in Cold Bay. All of them, I believe, are located in the Dutch Quarter Community Center. They are not located in areas with underground. Those 2, all the others are, so they will remain hooked up as long as possible. But as soon as we have a total cut of our electricity, all the shelters will be provided with standby generators, which is courtesy of GBE. So people who are living in those low-lying areas, we expect a significant amount of rain. And initially, we were hoping the storm would bear north of St. Martin, but it is coming. So far, it looks like it will be between 5 to 10 miles. The eye will be just 5 to 10 miles away. With the size of the storm, Cedric, 5 to 10 miles is considered a direct hit. So we can expect, those of us who have been around 22 years ago, we can expect a repeat of Hurricane Lewis. So this is not a hurricane to be taken lightly. This is not a hurricane to be taken lightly. As of 11 a.m. this morning, it was clocking at 180 miles, and we expect that it will grow in intensity to be over 200 miles an hour. So the curfew, in effect, at 6 and not 8 o'clock, and the shelters will open at 4 o'clock this afternoon.